Hello and welcome to Brave Souls Rewind, the show where I 200 older characters so you don't have to. Today we're covering the resurrected version of the very first Byakuya I ever did a rewind on. And while his resurrected version did improve upon him, there are also different standards now than there were back then. So let's go ahead and see if he's still viable. Now I started off with a normal attack damage build. He doesn't exactly have the highest attack, but at this point it doesn't matter. He does however have a plus 20 bruiser, which by itself isn't great, but he does have a plus 20 Nadlink. So overall the damage wasn't terrible, especially against the Ronkars, since this was an inheritance zone. However, against everybody else it was only okay. Under this build I did use a Chappie, so I had 0 SP, but the strong attack still served the purpose. For one thing, this Byakuya does have frenzy, so it did do a little bit of damage, but more importantly, his strong attack 2 is the original Vortex move, and Vortex plus a Nad build is always a good thing. Overall though, this build was just okay. I do think he would have benefited from an increase in attack speed, but at least it did get a little bit of extra range. I'm gonna leave this build at use at your own risk.
Bleep bloop.
Next up was a strong attack damage build, and while in the past this build was the best of the three, these days it's actually the worst. Sure, his strong attacks deal more damage, but both his strong attacks 2 and 3 take 24 seconds to recharge, and in any difficult quest now, you need to constantly be attacking, which is something he can't do except for his normal attack, which under this build is not that great. So I'm gonna say that unless you like sitting around for your strong attacks to recharge, this build is not viable. Not to mention that these attacks aren't exactly quick to activate, so you can hit a button, an enemy will lunge, and you'll end up missing your attack. Next up is a strong attack recharge build, and this build is a lot more friendly. Sure, you still have to wait an extra amount of time for your strong attack 2 to recharge, but once it does, at least it lasts for 5 seconds. And you don't have to wait nearly as long as the last build. Plus, if you miss with a strong attack because an enemy lunged, you don't have to wait too long for the strong attacks to come back. The only thing I will say is that this build doesn't deal as much damage to anything that Byakuya doesn't have a killer towards, which in this case was the Soul Reapers. It did take a few extra hits to take him down, which was kind of annoying, but at least having a more consistent Vortex move made it so they couldn't attack me as easily, and they were all in one spot. So I am gonna say that this build is viable, but I wouldn't take it in any difficult co-op quests, though it seems to handle single player inheritance zone just fine. Now for the next build I decided to increase a little bit of everything. He doesn't have as quick a recharge time as the last build, but he does deal more damage in both normal attack and strong attacks. And this is definitely the way to go. He was even able to one-shot some of the Soul Reapers, which he doesn't have a killer to, and his normal attacks under this build weren't that bad. Obviously I wish they did more damage, but he did have his own multipliers as well as a link, and a slight increase in his attack. I still wouldn't say that this build is usable in a difficult co-op, if only because there are a lot more better characters that would do the trick faster, but it's definitely the best build out of the 4. So yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was actually expecting a little more out of this Byakuya, especially since the strong attack 3 has a 150 mag. It's definitely an improvement on the regular 6-star though, and it was a lot of fun to revisit one of the first characters that came out after I started playing the game.
Finale to iku yo! Boku no senritsu kara wa nogare rarenai. All right.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what other characters you want to see in a rewind.